ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं भाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Let us recite the Shanti mantra again. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti. So this mantra reveals the vision of the entire scripture, what it is that the Vedas or the Vedanta has to teach, what it is that we have to learn in our life and imbibe. And so this one mantra is quite enough to help us contemplate upon everything. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi or someone, not this one, but the following mantra, Ishavas, if this mantra is saved, everything is lost in the universe. One mantra is saved, then mankind will be saved, it will again work it out. Adah Purnam, Idam Purnam. Adah, that which is remote, paroksha, not experienced by me, or what I think I do not experience, that is Brahman, is Purnam. Nobody has problem with that. Brahman is Purnam, that is Brahman. By Bruhatvad Brahma, that which is big, unconditionally great or big is called Brahman. So Brahman, by the word reveals that it is big or limitless. It's a very important thing to know that Vedanta says that the truth of this universe called Brahman, the self of all, Brahman, the word, is usually used for Jagat Karanam, the cause of creation. And primarily the material cause of creation. Like the clay is for the pots and pans, so also Brahman is for this universe of names and forms. And we'll have a chance to see that again in the next one's mantra. So that which is the cause of the creation, which is therefore the self of the creation, which therefore pervades everything, is limitless. Urthulam adashakam adah purnam, Brahman is purnam, idam purnam, Jivatma also is purnam. Purnat Purnamudachyate, because the Brahman alone manifests as Jivatma. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Therefore, take a close look at what you call Jivatma yourself. You'll find that you are also limitless. Take a look at the universe, you find that also is limitless. Purnameva avashishyate, for the wise person, what is only Purnam. So that is the reality of life. Purnam, wholeness, completeness, limitlessness is a reality. And this has to be said because what we experience seems to be all limited. I see myself as a limited being. I see every name and form of the universe also is limited. So whatever it is that experience is limited. In light of that, they say, no, what is limitless. Now this vision is unfolded in the Upanishad. So let us begin with the first mantra of the Upanishad. On your page 6. Om Ishavastamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagate Tena Tyaktena Bhunjithaha Ma Grudah Kasya Svidhanam. So this Upanishad is called Ishavasya Upanishad. The nomenclature Upanishad is very informal. Kena Upanishad is so called because the Upanishad begins the first verse, Kena, Kene Chitam. So also, Ishavasya Upanishad is so called because it begins with the verse Ishavasyam, so Ishavasya Upanishad. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Idam Sarvam, Idam, this. So we use the pronoun Idam or this in English for what is the object of knowledge. So whatever is objectified, whatever is object of knowledge, like these pots and pans and tables and chairs and all these things are all called idam because I denote them as this pot, this cloth, this table, this man, this woman, this chair, this table, this building, this mountain. So whatever it is that is denotable by the pronoun this, sarvam, all of the idam sarvam. Yat kincha, whatever it is, good, bad or indifferent, whatever it is, which is denoted by the pronoun idam or this, Isha Vasyam. Vasyam, that is the verbal form that comes from the verb root vas. Achadane, to cover. Our vastra, for example, is a word also derived from the root vas, achadane, to cover. Vasyam should be covered. It's like an instruction. Vasyam should be covered. May you cover? Idam sarvam, whatever it is that is denotable by the pronoun this. Yet kincha, without any distinction, whether a good, bad, indifferent, right, wrong, good, bad, a saint, a sinner, a king or a beggar, whatever it is. So look at the broadness or the generosity of the vision. That all of this is to be covered by Ishvara. He says Vasyam, to be covered, Achadaniyam, to be covered by Isha, by Ishvara. This word Isha is the third case of the word Ish. That is the nominative, that's the Pratipadika, substantive. So, the root is, in Sanskrit, the root is Ish, in the sense of ruling. Ish means to rule. Now the commentators explain that to this root Ish means to rule, they add what they call equip pratyaya. A suffix is added. To convert the root into a noun, you add suffixes. Like gam, gati, sham, shanti. So you add suffixes to convert a root into a noun. Simple process. Similarly, this original root is ish, in the sense of to rule. To that, a suffix is added. It's called kvip pratyaya. It's a suffix which is added but disappears. Meaning that it does not bring about any transformation into the original root. Ish plus kvip is also ish. Except that without that suffix, ish means to rule. When the suffix is added, then ish means the ruler. The root ish plus the suffix kvip. Kvip is, it is unseen suffix, it comes and goes away. Therefore, now the root ish is a noun, which means ruler. Ish means to rule. Ish again means ruler. And Isha is the third case of this word ish. The nominative singular is eat. Isha. So Isha is by Ish or by Ishvara. For our understanding, Isha means by Ishvara. What is meant by Ishvara? Ishvara or Ish is a word derived from root Ish, which means to rule. Means by the ruler, the whole universe must be pervaded. What is pervasion? Are they asking us to cover the whole universe with something? Is covering a process? Are they asking us to do something in terms of covering? Say, cover this. It looks like an injunction or a command to do something. So from the construction of the root, it looks like the Upanishad is commanding us to do something. Cover everything by Ishvara. How can you cover what is meant by covering? So covering here means see. By saying that all these ornaments are there, the chain is there, the bangle is there, the earring is there, the whole world of ornaments, cover them by gold. It's like saying that may you cover this whole world of ornaments by gold. That's interesting. Covering ornaments by gold means what? Because ornaments are gold. And covering by them by gold means see that ornaments are nothing but gold. Big deal, Swami. What's the big deal about this? Or go to a more familiar example of Vedanta. The rope snake example. Everybody knows that example, right? Rope snake? Or is somebody who doesn't know rope snake example? Everybody knows. Oh, you don't know? Okay. Now that gives me a chance to tell another story. No, I will tell you don't do time. Oh, how do you not know this? But imagine yourself taking a walk in this Gurukulam in the evening with twilight situation, not enough light, not dark yet. So you do see things. And you see also while walking along in the garden, you see on the side a snake. You're scared. There are palpitations. Your BP rises. You're afraid. You want to run away. These reactions are created on account of you are seeing a snake. Your friend is also walking along with you. He sees jumping. What happened? Snake, snake. Wait a minute. Because there's no real snake, you know. For the elephant, then perhaps we can, in this place, you can start elephant. The snake's not that common here, isn't it? No. Very common? Okay. Your friend is walking along with you and fortunately he has a torchlight. What happened? Snake! And he showed the torchlight. Turns out to be rope. So rope snake example means what is rope in reality is perceived by me as a snake. The object is one called rope and my perception of the object is snake. Not very unusual. It is not unusual in our day-to-day life also to mistake one thing to be something else. Not unusual when in Ahmedabad walking on the sidewalk, a scooter friend is coming along, I raise my hands to greet him, he comes closer, then somebody else, and I start, I'm embarrassed. Just to hide the embarrassment, I start scratching my head. So it's not unusual that you see one thing as, it's not called mistake. It's not so much mistaking something as other. It is having a brahma or a wrong knowledge about one thing or the other. So looking upon one thing as something different from what it is. In this case, looking upon something as contrary to what it is. Not just one thing as the other, looking upon one thing as contrary to what it is. Rope is a simple, innocent, harmless thing. And looking upon that as a snake is a very harmful thing which causes fear and many reactions in us. So they say, Swami, what happened, Swami, a snake? Swamiji, may you cover the snake by rope. So this is a way of saying, cover all the ornaments by gold. No, that is easy. But here, cover the snake by rope. What does it mean? It means that, hey, what you think is snake is in reality rope. May you appreciate the fact that what you perceive as snake or what you think is snake, recognize that it is rope. So what is happening here? How do the Vedantis explain this perception of snake where there is a rope? They say that you are superimposing the notion of snake upon a rope. So this phenomenon of perceiving one thing as totally different from the other is because of this called superimposition. There is something in my mind, as I said. It's not that every time I see a rope, a snake, but if some snake ideas are in my mind or some fear is there, it's likely that I am superimposed. But then this is called superimposing a snake upon the rope. Example. So here we are told, idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Jagatyam in jagati, in prithvi, in brahmanda, in the universe. Yat kincha jagat. Jagat means gacchati iti jagat. So that which is always in motion is called jagat. Which is in motion, meaning changing. So whatever it is that is jagat, whatever it is that is changing in the universe, may you cover that by Ishvara, may you recognize that it is Ishvara. So covering means recognizing, seeing this fact. Even though Vasyam, the constructional root is that it is as though giving instruction that may you cover this, but really there is no instruction involved here. What is meant here is that may you see this universe as Ishvara. Now there can be two things there. We have a Pratima of Puja Swamiji there. May you see that as Swamiji, No, what you see actually is a Pratima. But then they may say, may you see this as Swamiji. No, that is an instruction. They are asking us to do something. That where is Pratima, may you have the idea of Puja Swamiji upon that. So asking to superimpose something there. Yes, Upasana. Upasana means mental worship, which means superimposing the idea of something exalted, something profound upon something that is profane, upon a stone image or a metal image. You superimpose the idea of a devata, of the guru, of some exalted entity. And this is for upasana, the worship. This is what we normally do. This is the Vedic culture is rooted in this. This is the deliberate superimposition. Adhyaropa that we make. What you see is a pratima, upon that you superimpose the idea of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva. So that pratima then becomes an alambana, becomes a prop for you to meditate upon something more exalted. So whenever they instruct this is when also the instruction is given, may you look upon this Pratima as Vishnu. Is the Upanishad asking us, may you look upon the universe as Bhagavan, as Ishvara? Could be. But no. Vasyam, Achadaniyam, may this universe be covered by Ishvara, meaning that may you see this universe as Ishvara. Like telling us, may you see the universe of ornaments as gold, which is a fact. Swamiji, every time you give an example of gold and ornament, they always give example of pots and clay. May you look at this pot as clay. Thank you, Swami. May you look at this ornament as gold. All right. So these Vedantins, by giving us simple examples, get away. by claiming that they have communicated something very profound. But this is a simple thing. However, there is something involved here. When we ask that, may you look upon this bangle as gold, you say, yes, I see that, Swami. How do you see? How do you see this bangle as gold? What the eyes perceive is a form, isn't it? And color. And also gold. But where do you see gold? In your mind's eye. A better example would be in our Sailasburg ashram. At the end of every weekly retreat, there would be a cultural program, children's cultural program, where children present various plays and children act. They perform, on the stage, they have all kinds of costumes, and somebody becomes Rama, somebody becomes Lakshmana, somebody becomes Ravana, somebody becomes a watchman, a gatekeeper. Hey, look at this Ravana. But Ravana's parents are also there. When they look at Ravana, what do they see? Do you see Ravana? What do they see? They see their son. Yeah, isn't it? So what is happening there? When everybody sees Ravana there, because he's dressed accordingly. Because one boy who was always well known for dressing as Ataka and stuff like that, oh, he'll come, everybody would be scared. But the parents know. In what appears to be a very scary person or frightening person, what they see is their son. So there the eyes are revealing something. It's in the mind's eye that you see something more, is it not? So what do the parents see is, in their mind, what the process is happening. They are doing, they negate the costume which this boy is wearing. They know very well that Ravana belongs to costume, does not belong to my son. Otherwise, they would not allow him to act as Ravana. If by taking a role, a real transformation took place, nobody will take the role. Oh, everybody will want to take role of a king or something like that. So sometimes children don't want to take these roles. I don't want to become a gatekeeper. I don't want to become a Ravana. Children think that maybe I'll become something, but no, not so. Actors are no problem. They become heroes also, they become villains. As long as you pay them crores of rupees, doesn't matter what you are. They'll become anything, a beggar also, a king also, a hero also, a villain also, a murderer also. Because it is a superimposition. What is super does not change the original entity, called adhisthana or substratum. Without bringing about any change, it creates an appearance of something different from what it really is, What is a young boy, is an innocent boy. And this costume creates an appearance of Ravana. Thank God that that costume or his acting also, they do not bring out any inherent transformation or change in that person, isn't it? Then only these actors can afford to take variety of roles, because no real change takes place. He comes out intact. He may act as Lord Rama also, but come out intact. We hope that that acting helps somebody, but even that also may not help. Meaning that which is called substratum or adhisthana in Vedanta, like that actor, upon which the superimposition because of that costume, creates an appearance of a good, bad, or indifferent person. He can be a saint, a good person, a sinner, a bad person, or some citizen, indifferent person. So, this costume creates an appearance of good, bad, indifferent, a criminal, a saint, a sinner. All of these things belong to the costume and not to the actor who wears the costume. Is it not so? Now, when you look at that actor, your favorite actor, sometimes they dress so effectively that somebody like me, I won't be able to recognize. Then my nephew is required, the Swami, he is the wise person. Say, hey, look at this criminal. No, Swamiji, he is not criminal. Who is he? He is Amitabh Bachchan. Where is he? Then he would enlighten me. Because there is Lakshana there. This Swarupa Lakshanam is there. The temporary Lakshanam is that he is a criminal. But the Swarupa cannot be hidden. What is Swarupa? There are certain features that cannot be hidden regardless of how much, what costume you wear. You can't hide the eyes, is it not so? Can you? I remember the college days, when in those days they would present, for the boys they would present eyes, of the actresses. Just, and in the annual program, what is it called? So then they will say, come on, who recognizes it? That everybody will recognize. From eyes they'll recognize the actress. So when you like something, all you need is just a basic lakshanam. Then the swarupa lakshanam, eyes cannot be altered, nose cannot be altered, lips cannot be altered, ears cannot be altered. Some unalterable aspects are there, regardless of what costume he wears. Although an ordinary person will be thrown off by the costume, but the one who knows the actor recognizes, regardless of what costume it is, he sees his favorite actor. So what happens in our mind? When one who appears as a beggar, you recognize him as an actor. The eyes reveal a beggar, the mind's eye see an actor, isn't it? Two kinds of perceptions are there. One is what the organs of perception reveal, other is what the mind's eye sees. Is it not so? So what happens there? That the superimposition has taken place, that the actor appears as a beggar or a king or a criminal or whatever. And you, the wise person, as far as the actor is concerned, what you do? You do apavada. So it's called adhyaropa, apavada. Adhyaropa, superimposition. Upon the actor, there is adhyaropa, superimposition. Because of the costume and therefore, he appears to be different from what he really is. And this wise person, who will not be thrown off by costume, who can recognize the lakshana. In his mind, there is apavada, the negation of what is superimposed. And he sees what the adhisthana is, what the real is, what the reality is. This is our day-to-day experience. Is it not so? Not uncommon. Not uncommon to see something different from what appears to the eye. Is it not so? So we had, Swamiji, may you cover this beggar with Amitabh Bachchan. Means that, no, something is revealed to me. Swami recognized that beggar is an appearance. That A is what? The reality. Something similar is being told here. Ishavasyam idam swaram yat kinche jagatyam jagat. Jagatyam, the seventh case of the word Jagati. Jagat is Prithvi or the Brahman in Brahmanda. Yat kincha, whatever there is. You have to see in the broadness of the vision that Ishvara is all inclusive. Yat kincha Jagatyam. Whatever there is, Ishvara includes all of this is most inclusive vision. Not that here is God and here is Satan, not that these two opposite entities are there. These days there is Saturn's rule going on, and so Ishvara is in the background. Ishvara's rule goes on, Saturn is in the background. Ishvara will punish you if you do this, that, and so forth. He can get angry at you if you say this, do this. That's how Ishvara is presented to us, to manipulate us. This process of manipulation. You threaten this fellow, do this, you'll be punished. Do that, you'll be rewarded. Anyway, everybody uses this method, for children. When the child is not mature enough to see things in himself, and he naturally has a habit of doing things which can be quite contrary to what it should be, then you create fear in him. If you do this, this will be the punishment. Do this, that's a reward. But that is not what is said here. Without exception, see that what is this Ishvara. Idam suram yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Same as Purnam eva avashishyate. What is? So what is called Ish here, or Ishvara, is Purnam. It's complete. This word Ish, or Isha, or Ishvara, means ruler. See, every word has a meaning and therefore a limitation. Every word creates in our mind a concept. When I use the word pot, creates a concept in your mind of pot, of cloth, flower. So when I use the word Ishvara, it will create in you also a concept of what that word means. If you knew the language, how the word is derived, Ishvara means ruler. So may you cover everything by ruler, meaning may you see everything as a ruler. Now ruler presupposes a duality of what? A ruler is a noun or a word which is a relative word, is relative to something. If entity is called a ruler, relative to what is ruled. Is it not so? A ruler presupposes ruled. You cannot be a ruler unless there is ruled. In one village, this inspector, the education inspector must have gone there somewhere once in a few years, and he was inquiring as to how many teachers, who is the principal? I am the principal, Acharya. How many teachers do you have? One teacher. How many students are not student? This is called a school. And he must be getting salaries of Acharya, etc. And how often do you come? Once in a week or something like that. But when you use the word teacher, it creates in mind an impression with reference to student, isn't it? A teacher presupposes student. A ruler presupposes ruled. Every word presupposes something. That is how a word can convey the meaning. A word can convey only a relative meaning. This is what the Mimamsakas tell us. A word will convey the meaning with reference to something else. Good. The word good conveys the meaning with reference to bad. Happiness conveys the meaning which refers to unhappiness. This is the nature of every word, by the way. That any word can convey to us the meaning relative to something else. There is no word that is absolute or that conveys meaning independently. Just think about it. Ishvara means ruler. That also conveys meaning in a relative sense. A ruler presupposes what? A ruled. A king presupposes the subject. Teacher presupposes the taught. Father presupposes the progeny. Think of a word which does not presuppose something. In our language, there is no word which is not relative to something else. Therefore, and Vedas also do use words. Ishvara also is word, which literally means ruler. But ruler presupposes what? Ruled. So every word involves duality, understand. What I mean is that sapeksha, relative, meaning that it always presupposes something else in relation to which this is what it is. So this is ruler in relation to what is ruled. So Swamiji, you are asking, the Upanishad is asking us, so everything is Ishvara, ruler. But that is in reference to ruled. A ruler is different from ruled. Is that what the Ishvara is? Ishvara is different from ruled, then it's good. But what it means that he does not include ruled, isn't it? If the ruler is different from ruled, then ruler will not include the ruled. Is it not so? When you think of I, it excludes you because you and I are opposed to each other. So any word will convey to us a concept which is not all, no word can convey a concept which is all inclusive because every word only conveys what is relative and therefore it excludes something. So even Isha, Ishvara, ruler also excludes ruled. So when you ask, look upon everything as Ishvara, that means ruler. That means what? The rule is excluded. Then what about rule is not? Then rule is not ruler. If everything is Ishvara, everything is ruler, then what about the ruled? The moment you say it is ruled, means it is not ruler, isn't it? You say ruler, it is not ruled. You understand this? So how do you explain this ruler-ruled duality? What is duality? Mutual exclusion. Ruler excludes ruled, ruled excludes ruler. Then even if you see everything as ruler, still then you are excluding all the ruled and therefore everything is not Ishvara. Yat kincha is not Ishvara. So what will you do? So here the Tikakara explains. Gives the example of Devadatta, a Tom, Dick and Harry. Devadatta means a Tom, Dick and Harry, any entity. In English they would go Tom, Dick and Harry. I mean some common man. Sanskrit Devadatta, a common man. This Devadatta is standing in front of a mirror. So what does he see in the mirror? Devadatta standing in front of a mirror. What does he see in the mirror? His reflection. Now if Devadatta raises a hand, what happens to the reflection? The reflection says, I'm sorry. Reflection protests. I'm too tired. I will not lift my hand, raise my hand. I'm too tired. So Devadatta raises his hand and the reflection refuses to raise the hand. Does it happen? No. Devadatta just sits up, The reflection also, Devadatta can do all this. The reflection has no freedom to be otherwise. Is it not so? Why is it so? How come? How come reflection? I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm sorry, I don't do that. Oh, you make face, I don't make face. So people make faces also. Standing in front of the mirror. In fact, one Swami told us, Swami, how are you? Right now I'm standing in front of a mirror and making faces and laughing at my own self. So this was his way of laughing. So apparently he had some kind of therapy that you must laugh for 15 minutes a day. If you don't get any opportunity, just stand in front of the mirror, make faces and then laugh at your own self. When can you do that? Only when the reflection responds. You are doing this face, the reflection stands there. Does it happen? Doesn't happen. Why? Because the reflection does not enjoy an independent satta, independent existence. It is totally dependent upon the image. So Devadatta, if it's called image, then the reflection totally depends upon the image. Reflection is because Devadatta is. If Devadatta walks away, I will not walk away. Does reflection stay there? No. When Devadatta walks away, reflection. Meaning reflection is totally dependent. Reflection derives existence from Devadatta. Reflection shines because Devadatta shines. Reflection is handsome because Devadatta is handsome. Is it not so? It is Devadatta saying so. Thus, reflection has a totally dependent reality. Devadatta has independent reality, meaning that Devadatta does not depend upon anything or anyone else to be what he is. On the other hand, the reflection is totally dependent upon Devadatta. One is independent reality, other is dependent reality. So what do they call in Vedanta? There is a dependent reality. You know what is it called? It's mithya. What is it called? Mithya. What is satyam? That which enjoys independent reality. Meaning that which does not require anything else for it to be. What is mithya? Which requires something else for it to be. Therefore, if Devadatta stand, let us say, in front of parallel mirrors and he sees 100 Devadattas, does he get scared? Why? Suppose mirrors are of different kind, a concave mirror, a convex mirror, a variety of mirrors and Devadatta. Like I gave the example just yesterday. If Devadatta appears handsome, and then it was funny, fat, lean, tall, short, the mirrors can make appearance of many things depending on the nature of mirror. Meaning that the way the reflection appears is determined not by Devadatta. By whom? By the mirror. That's why people change mirrors. You buy the mirror, no, so this is not good. This mirror doesn't show. So this mirror is no good because it seems to only enlarge all my problems, whatever there is of the face. This mirror is stupid. Every little thing is, and magnified. I don't want this mirror. Mirror also, we want something that shows us in good light, isn't it? So the nature of reflection determined by a mirror. If there are 50 mirrors in front of me, each mirror having different characteristics, then there will be 50 different kinds of images. Is it not reflections? Is it not so? One will show me like this. In Ahmedabad we have what we call Bal Vatika. And there is a room in which different kinds of mirrors are placed. Stand in front of one of them, you look like this. In front of that, you look like that. Depends. Concave mirror shows you this, and convex mirror shows a different thing. You enjoy that. Why do you enjoy that? You look yourself, this is very ugly. Otherwise, you think that, wow, what happened to me? Wow, when did I grow this much? So much weight. What should I know for dieting? Do I start worrying about it? No, because I know what? It's just an appearance. It's called mithya. The Swami is not mithya, fatness is mithya. The tallness is mithya. Something is satyam. By the way, mithya presupposes satyam, isn't it? The Swami must be there for a fat one to appear there, for a tall one to appear then, for a distorted face to appear. Something must be there. Mithya presupposes satyam. Reflection that is mithya presupposes satyam, meaning a real Devadatta. No Devadatta Swamiji, reflections are dancing, that cannot be. Can it happen? Devadatta is not a reflection, is it possible? Then you have to watch out. Like this man, he comes in this early in morning, tells his wife, hey, you breakfast? Not one plate, make 2 plates, we have a guest. Says, what? When did you have a guest? Yeah, I saw him just now. He was coming from bathroom after. So he says, let me see. So, oh, not 1, 2 guests we have, she says, That is possible. It is possible that what is mithya is taken to be real. Possible, is it not so? In that case, our reactions are different, our thinking is different, everything is different. If mithya is recognized as mithya, it is fun. If mithya is thought to be real, like a child looks at the mirror, thinks that another fellow has come, he starts crying. The child thinks he's going to share something, that I have, my toys. Depends on nature. Some child may say, oh, my friend has come, he plays with him. When mithya is taken to be real, then our reaction is a different kind. When mithya is seen as mithya, our reaction response of a different kind. Is it not so? The rope snake, what is that snake? Not any snake, rope snake. What's the reality of the rope snake? It is mithya, just an appearance. So when you show the torchlight, when you find the rope there, what happens to the snake? Where does it go? Where does the snake go? You see the snake and you're scared. You start chanting mantras. There are mantras called Garuda mantras. When you chant them, the snake goes away, supposedly. So you see the snake and start chanting mantras. Will that snake go away? Will the rope snake go away? Sometimes people, pound the ground thinking that, but the snakes don't hear, they say, that's what they tell us. But then this is what we do, to drive the snake away. A real snake can be driven away, but this rope snake, regardless of what you do, cannot be driven away. Can it be? Then what should you do? To drive a rope snake, what should you do? Show the torchlight. Then the knowledge takes place. What I thought was snake is in reality a rope. So rope snake is the example of mithya. Projection, superimposition, a bhrama, a delusion. But as I said, mithya presupposes satyam. Something must be there. I saw the snake in the air. Now that may be some different thing in your mind. But normally, I saw elephant where you don't see an elephant where is snake. Some similarity sadrusham must be there. So where there is rope, you see a snake or something else, not an elephant. Because the snake derives its existence from the rope. Where the rope is, There the snake is, not the rope is there, and you see snake there, then it may be a real snake. What's the length of the snake? The length of the rope. What is the curvature of a snake? Curvature of the rope. The shining of a snake? The shining of the rope. The snake derives his existence. Satta, his furti, appearance, all of these from the rope. Or the Vedanta will say that the rope appears as a snake. Because what is this rope only? And therefore, rope appears as a snake. Snake is the appearance. So what is mithya? Mithya is appearance. Of what? What is real. As we said, mithya presupposes real. Reflection presupposes an image. The mithya snake presupposes a real rope. So another way of saying is, you see the snake, or you can say that what is rope appears in the snake. So now, for the rope also we can apply this terminology. Can you say that the rope rules the snake? Can you say that? No? The rope rules the snake. Because where the rope is, there the snake is. Is it not so? The rope is, the snake has no freedom. The rope is there, that snake cannot be elsewhere. Snake is where the rope is. How long is the snake? As long as the rope. What is the curvature of the rope? So it's a way of saying. You can say that the rope rules the snake. Can you say that? Ruler is independent. Ruled is dependent. Snake is totally dependent. Rope is independent. So you can say the rope is the ruler of the snake. Can you say that? Now the word ruler is in a secondary sense. But then what a ruler does is what the rope does to the snake. What a ruler would do to his subject. Control them. Determine what they do. Even determine how they appear in places like China, Russia. They may determine how you should appear also. Maybe. How you should dress, how you should appear, how many children you should have, what you should not have. It's called ruler. So similarly also, rope seems to does that, seems to do that. Not that rope is a ruler in a primary sense, but then rope also displays the characteristics of a ruler, with reference to snake. Meaning that the location of a snake is determined by the location of rope. The length of a snake is determined by the length of rope. The curvature of a snake is determined by the curvature of rope. The shining of a snake is determined by shining of the rope. Rope has no freedom at all. Rope is totally dependent. So that is called ruled. Who is dependent? It's called ruler independent. Is it not so? The ruler independent, ruled dependent. So you can apply that here also in a secondary sense. Not that rope is doing something to rule, but by virtue of just existing there. We'll also expand this idea later. You can say that the rope is ruling the snake. Rope is Ishvara of the snake. Can you say that? In a secondary sense. Not primary, but then whatever Ishvara, the ruler, does, the rope also seems to be doing that to the snake. Or snake seems to have the same kind of dependence upon the rope that a ruled has upon ruler. So you can say that the rope is the Ishvara of the snake. Then it's quite understandable. Ishavasam idam sarvam. May you cover this snake by rope, by Ishvara of the rope, by Ishvara of the snake, the rope. What it means is, may you see the snake as rope. So these words, some words have to be used. And when words are used, words will convey the meaning. And very often then the meaning, that what the primary meaning, vachyartha, the primary meaning conveyed by the word, may not be adequate actually to convey the message. Therefore, you may have to explore that word. And what we call it, what is tatparya? What is the intended meaning? It's called tatparya, purport. Meaning what? The intended meaning. So, this is very important. When we listen to somebody, not only should we interpret the literal meaning of what we hear, we should understand what is intended by the speaker. The meaning, that's what the Mimamsakas would say, that the meaning of the word is determined by the intention of the speaker, not by the word. The word does not determine its meaning. The meaning is determined by the intention of the speaker. That's the reason why sometimes we have to go beyond simply literal meaning. And what does it mean by this? What is tatparya? What's the intended meaning? So that is why we require teachers. Because when you study the scriptures, like the statement that we are studying, what it says literally is one thing, which is not wrong. However, we would explore what it means, and when we explore, then we understand more profound meaning conveyed by these words. Ishavasam idam saram yat kinja jagatyam jagat. Whatever there is in this universe must be covered by, meaning must be seen as Isha means Ishvara. Meaning, what is Ishvara? We will continue discussion in next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.